Oh boy, I'll tell you, crypto investors are a fickle group, aren't they? When you're doing well, man, they love you. They love you, but man, you step out of line just slightly or even look like you're stepping out of line, and they will dogpile on you, and the hate will just never end. So I love it how all the Johnny Come Lately fans of XRP is like, see, I told you, it's been 7 years. See, I told you, you just had to wait. And I'm here, I am telling you, well, you're still going to be waiting, and it's down it goes. So the point of this is going to be a little bit of a lecture here. I'm going to give you a little grass to touch because this is not over, guys. We're going down. But in the end, we're going up. And I want to explain the difference between RLUSD and XRP. Kind of, this is just going to be a series of thoughts. It's not necessarily going to be a lecture laid out for a stage presentation, of course, obviously. It's just going to be me riffing, but there'll be a few gems in here, but you can pick up a few things. And just effectively what I want you to understand that if I'm not worried, you shouldn't be worried. And I have a lot of reasons to be worried if I were to be, but I'm not because I know the difference. So anyway, I just got done kind of half watching, this guy. I don't know who he is, but he's laying out. He's not getting excited. He's God bless him. He's trying his hardest to try and say, I think we're getting bait and switch here, but he doesn't understand the implications of what he's saying here. So I'll get to the point here in just a second. So what I did to kind of assist my conversation here with you today is I went to Grok and I said, because surely we're going to get a little something based on fact. And I know fact from fiction here. And so I said, Grok, let's ask Grok, is RLUSD going to replace the original intent of XRP? Well, let me go ahead and read this for you, for those of you that are on phones and can't read this. It says the introduction of RLUSD by Ripple does not appear to be aimed at replacing the original intent of XRP, but rather complementing it within the broader ecosystem of the Ripple services. Here's how this relationship is understood on available information. Now again, I've got a deeper dive on this or a deeper understanding of this, so I can sort truth from fiction very, very fast. And I'll tell you if it's BS, I'll call it as BS. The original intent of XRP was created with the intent to serve as a bridge currency for cross-border payments, aiming to provide liquidity on demand, reduce the cost associated with international transfers, and speed up transactions by eliminating the need for pre-funded Nostro-Vostro accounts. XRP is the digital asset of XRP, of the XRP ledger. Okay, so let's just take that at face value here. As a consumer, does any of that concern you? No. No, it doesn't. Do you care about speed of international transactions? You doing very many international transactions? Who is? Banks. How often? Second by second. As I've been making this video, billions of dollars have flown over the internet, right over your head. And there's a need. There's an absolute need. And it's not going to be solved immediately. And this is why it's taken almost 10 years to get the contracts and stuff. I will say that Japan is now actually using it. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Okay, so the role of RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, is pegged to the US dollar and is intended as a stable asset for transactions. Okay, well here we already have a clear definition difference between XRP. One is stable, one is not. Thus far here at 12.23.24. So if you're a type of person that wants to move, we have two definable different things. If you want to move a lot of money fast across, the pond, as it were, you pick one asset. If you need to transfer some money from, like, let's say, for example, I want to send my girlfriend some money, and she said, "Papi, I need to have $100," and so I send her $100. I'm not going to send it in XRP because XRP is going to have some validity, or it's going to have some volatility, excuse me. And so she needs to have that $100. She can't have $99.99. She's got to have $100. So what am I going to choose? I'm going to choose RLUSD. Okay, so let's dig a little bit deeper. Let me reread that again. It is pegged to the U.S. dollar and is intended for stable assets for transactions, particularly appealing to institutions or individuals that require less volatility for operations. RLUSD is seen as enhancing the Ripple ecosystem by providing a stable intermediary transaction, which can be particularly beneficial for those who are not comfortable with the price volatility of cryptocurrencies like XRP. Did I not just say that? Increasing liquidity within the XRPL by serving alongside XRP, where XRP acts as a bridge for the RLUSD exchanges. In other words, XRP, as I've defined it to people who've been with me for a long time, is gas. It's gas. And so, complementary nature. Instead of replacing XRP, RLUSD is designed to work in tandem with it. The launch of RLUSD leads to more transactions on the ledger, indirectly boosting XRP's usage and demand because it's gas, due to its role in transaction fees and liquidity provision, enhancing utility for both retail and institutional users. Okay, so let's get down to this. Retail. What do I mean by retail? So if you had the choice of, there's only two forms of financial exchange on the planet, and you're Mr. Joe Lunchbucket. Well, we've already covered that. But let's say if you're a store, let's say you're a grocery store, are you going to want to take XRP? Not bloody likely. Because you might make more money on transactions, you might make less. The volatility is in direct opposition to a stable marketplace. It goes against everything that is consumer or capitalist. You cannot have uncontrollable costs. You must have, if you sell something, if you sell a widget for $1, you expect to get $1 because you have overhead, you have, cost of doing business, etc. And, you can't run a business where the ground is constantly shifting underneath you. So XRP is off the table for discussion as far as like a payment platform, a direct one-for-one payment platform. It cannot happen. You must have a stable coin, or otherwise you basically got absolute chaos in your business. And you can, 1 minute you're doing well, and most of the time you're probably not. And so let's get down here a little bit and finish this out. So concerns and speculations. There are some in the community concerned that RLUSD might overshadow XRP in its role in payments. Well, I've just covered that. But Ripple CTO David Schwartz and various analysis suggest that XRP's decentralized nature and its unique functions within the ledger make it indispensable. RLUSD is seen more as an expansion rather than a direct replacement for XRP. Okay, so thus far I think Grok has pretty much got it. Let's look at this one more other way. Now, many of you know that I'm an automotive engineer by trade. I worked for General Motors, and let's just look at it from General Motors' standpoint. This is what I think a lot of people who just really don't understand business, probably miss the point. You'll notice that if you look at Ripple, they have a suite of tools. This is just one more thing. When you have a big business such as Ripple, you got to have a lot of different products. And let's look at General Motors, for example. Now, General Motors can make one car, but then pretty much its entire fortune rides upon that car. But then you start looking at other markets, you're like, well, we could make a truck because there's people that need trucks. Well, we can make a van because there's businesses that like vans. Well, we could make a fast sports car because there's people that like that. It might not be our best seller, but we can, that has its place in our ecosystem as well. So you look at General Motors and you got a whole bunch of different divisions. You've got a whole bunch of different products within those divisions, but the money all flows to the same master company. That's General Motors. That would be Ripple in this case. And so people get real offended, who don't understand. And this is straight up capitalism, folks. That's what this is. They're just adding another money-making way, another tool. They're filling in another gap. They're plugging in another need. It's not muscling anything out, and there's no reason why you should ever get real crazy about this, because basically XRP is designed for the bankers, and it's going to be operating underneath everything else, and you're not going to see it. You're not supposed to see it. It's not designed for you to see it. The fact that it was ever offered to the public is kind of a little bit of a miracle in and of itself. But eventually you're going to stop hearing about it. Eventually it's going to stop being available for trade on these platforms. So understand that. I don't want to go too far down into the rabbit hole on that. But you will see RLUSD be a public-facing thing, which it is not and never will be. The same thing as XRP. And, when we get deep into 2025 and beyond, RLUSD will just be the thing. It'll be used by a lot of different institutions. You'll be able to buy things with it. The consumers will be able to use it. You'll be able to buy stable coins, and you'll be able to buy your favorite crypto, et cetera, much the way that you do Tether, et cetera. But you will never be able to do that with XRP because that was never the goal. Okay, so meanwhile, this confusion is causing a little bit of you know turmoil in the market, and that's good. We want that. So if people are indecisive about what this means, we can use this to our benefit because if people are not sure that, I thought the chosen one was going to rise from the ashes right now, I've been telling you that's not going to happen. Not going to happen until probably at least midsummer. We got a lot of problems in this world to deal with, and XRP is not one of them. We have to have a crash. We just have to have a crash before we're ever going to see that. So it's going to be basically the world event version of a three-card Monty. You're shown the XRP card, and then shuffle, 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 shuffle. You can't find it, and you're not paying attention to it. You're watching all the other things go, and you start thinking, oh shit, where did I leave that XRP? And the next thing you know, people aren't paying attention to it. It's not the most important thing that's going on, and prices fall as a result. Now, another thing that I did see here just this morning, I'm sorry I didn't have it queued up, is I did see that there was some other thing involving the SEC here that just started this morning, more clown show, et cetera, et cetera. It matters not to me, to be honest. And so let's take a look at the chart here real quickly for those of you that don't look at this very often. So we're going to be going down. So the last little call we just hit it here. It's likely that we're probably going to come down here to hit this red. We might wick down into this here, but I want to show you the one thing that I believe is likely to happen here. So we've been rising, rising, rising. Now this, to most people that look at this, they're like, wow, this is going to be a flag and this is going to take off. Clearly it's going to take off. I doubt that, because the reason why I doubt that is because we've got some pretty ridiculous calls going down here, but also we're still inside of this channel here, and we took a pretty hard drop. We're flagging downward, which should take us down into here. But the thing that I noticed mostly in all of my indicators here is I noticed this Keltner. Let's darken that up here a little bit here so we can show it. There we go. I noticed this Keltner is curving over, and this is indicative of we've been rising, rising, rising. We're ready for a change, and it's going to continue. It's just now starting to catch up with the idea that things are going to start going downhill. So what's likely to happen as a result of this is we've had one belly, a second one. We're not completely done with this. We could go into a third. We're poised, looking like we might go up, but we've all known because we've been watching this stuff. Doesn't mean we're ready for any green. We've had a lot of strong green here. Actually, three sessions of it, 2 sessions of this. What's going to end up happening is we're going to finish this out, and it's likely going to go in a little bit of mushy stuff, and then it's going to get negative again. And so I don't have any hope for this panning out as being anything bullish. Now, we could pop a little bit here, but I just don't see it being very bullish. The rest of the market is pretty much signaling the same thing here. I could probably show you this on Bitcoin. I don't want to get too far. I don't hold out much hope for Santa Claus rally. Not at all. For most coins. You can see that I had the channel shown here. We fell out of the channel. I predicted where we'd be last night. We hit it. And so get ready, kids, because we're going to go down. So I was being cute, and I said, chapter 3, I mean, every once in a while I just kind of get goofy. And I said, chapter 3, the villagers realize that blood is going to start raining from the sky. Well, the blood's starting to rain. It's going to get worse. As you can see here, we have not yet begun to see the rain. It's going to get much, much worse. Much, much worse. So brace yourself, boys and girls. You ain't seen nothing yet. So Bitcoin's going down. XRP's going down. It's all bloody well going down. All right. So meanwhile, I just wanted to kind of talk a few people off the ledge that might be a little concerned by posters like this that really don't understand. He's doing his best to try and compete, but this is a guy, and not take anything away from people like this, because, he puts a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this stuff. He's got himself, 2,008 some odd subscribers or whatever. It takes a lot of work to do that. But the thing is if you don't deal with multiple verticals, if you don't deal on high-level finance, if you don't deal with practical application, all you can do is just view things from your very small world on your couch and you not understand the implications and the actual differences of these things, your world comes to you through the internet. And if you don't have practical, real, hands-on world experience, you're not going to see the definable difference. And so to go back here one more time, RLUSD is basically, think of it as money. Think of XRP as gas, if you like, which it is, or you can think of it as big bank to big bank credit. One last thought on this. This just so much. It's such an interesting thing. But think of XRP as another way of looking at this. We all kind of know that it's a liquidity pool where mutual trade partners can go back and forth and get instant access to a liquidity pool. But also think about it as a trust. We hear this term trustless, and we don't know, well, what does trustless mean? Okay, yeah, trustless, whatever. But no, really, that's a serious thing. Let's say that XRP is planet wide. Everybody's using it. Okay, we're not exactly in love with the Russians right now. The Russians are using the hell out of XRP. They are. They are. That's a fact. But and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. But let's look at it this way. Let's say you got two countries that don't really like each other. But sometimes the enemy of my enemy. Sometimes you got to kind of do business with people you don't like. It's just a world thing. Well, we'll sell you a little bit of this, and we'll take a little bit of that, but we'll pay you an XRP. Well, how do we know your money's any good? See, here's the discussion. How do we know your money's any good? How do we know you're not gonna, somebody like Cuba? I always bring Cuba into the conversation. I wouldn't take a Cuban peso for anything in my life. Hell, man, you'd be lucky by the time they get it into your hand if it hasn't devalued 50%. I wouldn't take a Cuban peso for nothing. However, if they want to take enough of those goddamn things and they want to buy XRP and pay me an XRP, yeah, I'll take XRP, because at least we have an agreed upon price. Now, eventually that's going to stabilize like our LUSD. Then we'll be having, again, in 2025, it will do that. But for right now, I would much rather, if I were a president of a country or an emperor of a country or a king or whatever, I would much rather take a neutral third party. That would be XRP, not RLUSD. RLUSD would be a slightly different conversation here to kind of look at it this way. Let's say, let me finish the country to country thing. So if I were dealing with Russia, let's say I were a competent president running America, and I wanted to do some sort of business or some sort of transaction, I would want them to, okay, you buy XRP. It's almost like an escrow. Well, it is kind of an escrow, really, because what is an escrow? An escrow is to basically say, okay, so all parties don't get screwed. We're going to have a neutral third party hold the money. And all things are going to be according to Hoyle, and then the money will be distributed. So that's effectively what they are. So they're a third-party neutral escrow service between condoning parties. Now, if we were to take this to a person-to-person basis, so let's say that Yuri is over there and he's got some neat thing that he's designed. Man, I want to buy one of those. But I don't want to run out and I don't want to buy a bunch of Russian money, and I don't think you necessarily probably want American dollars. How about I send you X number of XRP, and that happens immediately, and Yuri gets it, and I have it on the blockchain proving that I paid him, and we can do transactions. That would be done in RLUSD because that's person to person, that's stable coin, that's an agreed upon price. Yes, it's based on US dollars, but Yuri can trade US dollars and somebody else can mess with that exchange. We don't have to. He and I don't have to. So if he's got a crypto exchange access and I got a crypto exchange access, even though it's based in US dollars, that's a commercial transaction, not a bank-to-bank transaction. Okay, so hopefully that gave you a little bit more insight. So if people are starting to panic and scream and run around and say goofy shit about RLUSD taking out XRP, laugh. No, it's not going to happen. Let them think it because it's going to drive the price down where we can buy stuff cheaper. Let them think it because it's never going to happen. We're not going to see XRP after all this time bait and switch major players in this world because they just won't have it. Okay, end of lecture.